Guys, it's Quana back again with another review. Hope you guys are doing awesome. This weekend I sat down to watch Master, a 2022 release on Amazon. It is the directorial debut of Mariama Diallo, and it stars Regina Hall, Zoe Renee, and Amber Gray as three women whose lives intersect on a New England college campus. This is a horror thriller suspense film, and I keep dipping my toe into the horror genre. I don't know that I'm ready to take the plunge full on, but this was me kind of ripping the band-aid off. I hadn't really watched anything too spooky or scary since Candyman last year. So I'm going to let you know all about this movie and whether or not you need to give it a shot. But before we do that, do me a favor and click the subscribe button down below. Please come over here and join me for lots of fun, lots of good times, lots of laugh, and of course, movies. This film is about three women who are on a PWI, that is a predominantly white institution or college campus. It's kind of an Ivy League style college campus in New England. It's a fictionalized college called Ancaster, but the film was filmed at Vassar College. The three women are Regina Hall's character, Gail Bishop, who is the newly appointed master. Think of master as like a headmaster of a college, the head or the senior most colleague of a particular college within a university. Within a university, there are separate colleges, and she is the master at one of the colleges within the university system. Then you have Zoe Renee. She plays a young freshman student by the name of Jasmine, who's new to this school, and she is exploring the college from the student perspective. And then we have Liv Beckman. She is Jasmine's English professor and a very good friend of Gail. And these three women's lives intersect at this PWI. You're talking a full onslaught of experiences that they're having. Microaggressions. There is a literal ghost possibly haunting the campus. You have a nearby Amish community. And then just the fact that these three women are three of a very small grouping of Black individuals at this PWI. I believe one character actually said there were only 8 Black students. And out of the faculty, these two women seem to be the only Black faculty members. And other than that, everyone else who is Black, who is a part of this college community, are janitors, cafeteria workers, service personnel. And so we get a chance to see their unique experiences. Now, I went to a PWI, but I went to a larger, not a non-private, not a small college, but a larger college, a public college. And it was obviously in, the current day and age where there were certainly more than 8 of us. It was very easy to kind of create your own community, although it was not without its problems and its microaggressions and its racism. So I definitely could sympathize with the character of Jasmine and what she went through. I picked my roommate, went to college with my best friend, and lived with friends the entire time. Jasmine gets paired with a white student and has to face an onslaught of microaggressions, navigating dating experiences, struggling with her academia, and also distancing herself, it seems, from her home life. We don't get a whole lot about that story. It is an interesting take. We also have Gail's character, who, as the master, gets to live in this building that is a part of the campus, and it seems that there might be something supernatural in the walls of this building. This was a well-acted movie. Comparable performances all around. I thought Regina Hall did very good. She has been really flexing her acting chops lately, and this was very much a more scaled down role. It is kind of hard to sometimes distance Regina Hall because of some of the facial expressions. She's definitely someone who I think is known for being a actor who has a very expressive face, and because of some of her facial expressions, it can be kind of difficult to separate her from that, and in certain moments take her seriously when all I'm thinking about is this thing right here. That moment right there that got me through the pandemic. But I thought all of these women did well. Amber Gray is also in this. She plays a character by the name of Liv Beckman, who is an English professor and by all appearances appears to be a biracial Black woman who is fighting for tenure. A lot of her story kind of borrows some of the nuances for some of what has been going on in the media, such as like Nicole Hannah-Jones fighting for tenure at UNC and then deciding that she wasn't going to take that position because they were making her fight for tenure at her alma mater, which I definitely understand and respect that. So there was a lot of things going on in this movie that were working very well. I actually think the horror storyline, the ghost haunting witch storyline, was an actually really intriguing storyline, and I would have liked to see that play out a little bit more. I would say that my overall rating for this movie is a B minus, and I'm going to tell you why. I think that it is a fun, use that term lightly, an interesting watch if you're up for it. My problem with the film is that I don't know that it was made for all audiences, and I'll tell you what I mean. It it starts to cross into the territory of like trauma porn, as a Black person who has dealt with some of these microaggressions and dealt with racism, to the point where there were times where it was uncomfortable. Also, it felt like some of the teachable moments that the film was trying to explore and to have, especially when they were overt and when they were expressed outwardly, felt like, I know that. I don't need you to re-educate me on that because that is my lived experience. So it made me question, well, who is this for? And then there were certain nuances where the characters really aren't encountering their white counterparts in such a way that those characters are learning anything and growing from the experiences. So then it begs the question, who is it for? Now, we've gotten a slew of movies like this in the recent years, ever since Jordan Peele's Get Out. I thought that Jordan Peele's Get Out was unique in the idea and the conceptualization of, exposing trauma in the lens of race relations through horror, because we didn't really see any overt violence on Black bodies taking place in the film. You were aware that they had gone on beforehand, but you didn't see it happening on screen. And then, spoiler for Get Out, there is a comeuppance where where the character that Daniel Kaluuya plays actually comes out on top. I don't know that that happens in this movie in a way that is fully satisfying, and I think that's why it got the B minus for me. I also think that there were some parts of the story that just kind of like weren't executed as well. There's a witchcraft ghost storyline that is just kind of like abandoned in the third act, and I felt like it was such an intriguing storyline that I wish they would have played with that more, because it didn't have to be divorced from the racism. It didn't have to be that the racism overtook that storyline, and that kind of happened in the story. And then there's a surprise plot point that happens in the third act that isn't really that much of a surprise, but being that it's something that has been such, and I'm not going to spoil it for you if you decide to watch it. If you want to know what it is, drop down below in the comments and say, hey, let me know, and I'll reply to you, okay? But there's a surprise reveal in the third act that just kind of felt like, okay, we're pulling this in because it's a hot topic and it's happened in the media. And it does explore some things that are real life to the Black experience, but it didn't feel like it did it with enough nuance or enough exploration into the topic or the complexity of the issue in a way that was satisfying. So I just felt like there were several plots that just weren't fully fleshed out. They needed more time to grow, and I think the film was trying to do so much in one thing instead of just following one storyline. I honestly think that you could have had the intersection of the focus being on Jasmine, with Gail's character being kind of like a mentor for Jasmine, and not necessarily explored Liv Beckman's storyline quite so thoroughly. In fact, I think that Renee, Regina Hall's character could have absorbed that storyline or elements of that storyline, and they could have not had Amber Gray's character. Although I love Amber Gray, especially in Hadestown, and it just would have allowed them to wrap up those storylines a bit better. That being said, you know, it was a movie, and it was well acted, and it was beautifully shot. So for those reasons alone, it does earn the B. It's just that it was missing some things. And for me, it's a film that I would probably never watch again. And so for that reason, I have to give it a B minus. But let me know down below in the comments if you have had a chance to check out Master. If you've seen it, let me know what you thought. Do you agree or disagree with my rating? And if you want to know about the surprise reveal, hit me up and let me know. As always, guys, it's Quana. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next review. Toodles!